Alright guys, they dropped new patch notes, so I'm reacting my first thoughts and I'm gonna describe what I think about them, whether or not they're good, whether or not they're bad, whether they mean something, whether or not I will actually find happiness or I'm gonna be perpetually miserable while queuing up 12 hours a day of Marvel Rivals. Anyways, getting into the actual patch notes, Doctor Strange, Vanguard. The way the changes here work is that it is pretty decent. So what I mean here is that they gave him some buffs. First and foremost, I did get confused. I thought it means increasing how many shots he hits per mouse one, but increased daggers of Danak projectile charges from 8 to 10 means actually his ammunition. I know why they don't say ammo. I hate you know, when they don't have a very direct syntax of what they mean whenever they talk about stuff. In this case, I'm pretty sure they're talking about ammo because he has 8 ammo. So he has now 10, which means he can spam more, he can do more damage. It's a good quality of life change. It doesn't make him broken. But the second change is actually really good. Reduce cloak of levitation cooldown from 15 to 12 seconds. That is a really good change because one of the main strengths of this character is the fact that he can deal with flyers. And that is really hard to do if your flying ability is on the 15-second cooldown. Second of all, it is really good because you can fly in and ultimate much earlier if you want to do that, or hit somebody on high ground, or just catch people off guard. 3 seconds is really significant, and you're going to see it in effect for many of your games. You're going to be able to catch a lot more people off guard, and you're going to be able to punish a lot more people. So I think it's good changes. I don't think Strange is in a bad spot. I just think Emma is really strong. Unfortunately, from what I see, Emma did not get nerfed. So this change doesn't make him meta, and this change doesn't make Emma any weaker either. So overall, good quality of life changes. I think he's still in the same spot, and I think every other tank might be on the same spot. But first, I need to read all the changes before I conclude that. Time to talk about the next character, which is Groot. And look at my cup. I think it's really cool. Anyways, Groot. Now, Groot got buffed. I know why. Considering that he got a new team up. And that new team up is a wall that can heal. So, that plus the addition of Groot having more range for the Divine Strike. Which means I'm pretty sure that that is how much... is that his main... Give me a sec. Let me just look at ability names. Vine Strike is his left click. So his left click can reach 2 meters further, which is 10% more. And then Floor Colossus effect range from 20 to 24. That is his passive. So walls will activate further away from him. Which means it is a little bit complicated. I'm reading it on the right side right now. Basically, how it works is that the walls activate when he's near the walls, and now they're gonna activate from further away, 20% further from 20 meters to 24. So this means that he's gonna be effective at longer ranges. I don't think this change is particularly too strong, but it is still pretty good. I think he still sucks against Emma Frost. I think everything I mentioned today doesn't matter as long as Emma Frost is still the same character. She's just too oppressive. But as long as Emma, Wolverine, and Punisher exist in the state that they do exist, Groot will not have a good time. So I think these buffs mean too much, but the moment they nerf those other characters, I think Groot will be immediately S tier. But again, small quality of life changes. Magneto. Reduce metal bulwark and iron bulwark shield. I don't know how to pronounce that. Value from 200 to 250. This is his bubble. So his little circle thing that blocks damage. It is a nerf. It is a decent nerf, as a matter of fact. I think it's like 15% less HP, which means you can break it faster and kill the target that got bubbled a lot faster. So I don't know if it changes anything, but I think it's going to be faster to break the bubble, and you should probably shoot the bubble nowadays. So if, for example, you maggled and they bubbled the Luna so she doesn't die, you can actually tell your team to shoot the bubble and it's going to break much faster, 15% faster. statistically speaking. I know if it's exactly 15%, but I don't think this change really affects him too much. I think he's still going to be S tier for sure. So Thor got some really interesting changes, and it's not what you think. Gain a fixed 1 Thor force upon exiting the Awakening Rune awakened state is pretty okay quality of life change, but it doesn't mean much because it doesn't actually buff the character much. It's more... it allows you for more things to do after you leave your awakened state, where you throw out lightning, but it doesn't really do much to keep him alive. And now the second sentence here will bait a lot of people, including me, but I can confirm now that it's not what you think it is. Lightning Realm new effect, enemies leaving his boundary are grounded for 2 seconds, restricting aerial abilities. At first, I thought this meant that it's gonna work like the Thing's Shift, where nobody can use any abilities about movement. Like, they can't go around and do stuff. Now, I thought this meant that Thor counters divers. I thought that, hey, this is really strong because you can PO your team, use your E on them, and the enemies cannot do anything. BP countered, magic countered, SpiderMan countered. That's not what it means. Thor is still garbage. This means that whenever somebody leaves the little circle, they get grounded. Not when they're inside of it. And by grounded, it means that they can't use, for example, Bucky's shift or flying abilities like strange shift, like strange... I guess if you're on console, it's a different button, but all abilities about flying, you can still use dashes, right? So I don't know why everybody got baited by this. I guess grounded sounds like something that doesn't allow you to do anything movement-wise. But this is actually garbage. Because while you're inside the circle, you can still fly. And when you leave, you're forced on the ground. So if you use it on an Iron Man in the air and he leaves the circle, he goes on the ground. But he can just stay inside the circle. He doesn't have to leave it. As a matter of fact, this doesn't apply or do anything as long as people stay inside the circle. And even if they leave the circle, it doesn't guarantee a kill because it only grounds them. But they can still use dashes or ultimates or bubbles or anything. So this doesn't mean anything. It's useless. I don't know why they keep edging Thor players. Are they scared of him? This character is by far the worst tank in the game. I'm sorry, people that disagree with me, but Thor is the worst tank. At least Penny has some cheese factor. Thor just dies too fast once you get into high elo games. In lower elo, you can get value, but it's much easier to get value on Emma Frost or Magneto or Strange or Groot or anything else, right? He's just too niche. And these abilities, these changes don't do enough. They really need to redesign this character or actually buff him, okay? And as long as Emma lives, he's going to be weak. Moving on, BP, increase Spirit Rend cooldown from 8 to 10 seconds. This is a horrible change because BP might be really oppressive, but this change doesn't do what you want it to do. It only makes the character more boring to play because if you miss your dash, you're useless for 2 more seconds. And this is not engaging gameplay. And if he hits his dashes, you're still gonna die because he's still gonna get dash resets. So this change, it is a nerf. It's a big nerf. But ultimately, if you're a good BP, you're still killing everybody instantly, right? So I don't think this was the right way. If you want to disable the ability for this character to kill stuff, maybe make it so Mark doesn't last. Maybe make it so Mark doesn't last as much, or maybe reduce the damage he does, or maybe change some other aspects about the character, like for example his dash distance, right? But this is just bad decision making from them. Like this is the bad way to go with it. I think, especially because it just makes the character more boring. It doesn't really address any of the issues. Moving on to Iron Fist. Increase the Jeet Kune. Okay. Can I be honest here? I hate how they word Iron Fist changes because it's super confusing. Jeet Kune do. I cannot reach Chinese, okay? I think this is left click. 5th strike damage from 50 to 55. Alright. And actually, as a matter of fact, they're increasing all of his damage purely because they're removing the anchor. So he basically keeps the same damage. Increase the percent damage of the enemy max health per strike from 2.1 to 2.7, which means 0.6% more. Adjust harmony recovery bonus health decay, so it decays slower, and then his kick increased damage. Overall, Iron Fist is going to be the same. His new team up might be strong and might not be strong, but I don't think it changes much. I need to see whether or not his team up actually allows him to heal or only do bonus health. So far, Iron Fist is probably in the same spot. StarLord. Gain 25 bonus health when using Stellar Shift, which this is really good, by the way. When he spins and does the damage, he's very vulnerable. Like, StarLord has not been too strong as of recently because of Phoenix and because of Hela and because of all these hit scan. But now, with this change, he's still going to be garbage. Okay, jokes aside, I think he's not going to be as bad, depending on his team up. I think he's a really cool character, just really hard to get value on. He's kind of like Tracer in Overwatch. I think he's just much better in higher elo than he is in lower elo games. This is a good quality of life change because he can get away with spinning around the enemies much more without dying. But his overall usefulness really depends on whether or not hit scan is good and whether or not SpiderMan is good. If SpiderMan is good, StarLord is also going to be bad. Thankfully, SpiderMan is not good right now. Unfortunately, Phoenix is really good. Speaking of Phoenix and her team up, Wolverine got changed. So now his ultimate charges up much faster, which is good. I mean, not faster, slower, sorry, which is good, from 2.8k to 3.4. This is a big and really good change because he gets it so fast. And then lifesteal gain from the Primal Flame. Phoenix Warrior team ability no longer contributes to Wolverine's ultimate ability, Energy. I think this means that his team up burn effect doesn't give him ultimate ability charge. But I am confused about lifesteal gain from the... Oh, I see. I understand it. So when he does when he gets lifesteal from his Phoenix team up, the self-healing doesn't give him ult charge. So this is a really good change because he's going to get his ultimate much, much slower now. With the Primal Flame change, with the addition of it getting... with the addition of his ultimate being much slower to charge, this is really good. This is good. Big W, big W. But I think Wolverine's still going to be probably in the same spot. I don't think he's too strong after all the nerfs, I'm going to be honest, but he's just so annoying to deal with. Just ban him if you play time. SpiderMan, increased damage per second of spectacular spin from 150 to 170 is really good. As a matter of fact, it is more damage than before because they removed his anchor. So he lost a lot of damage and his ultimate got really bad because they forgot to buff it. But now they actually increased it by 20 per second, which makes it at over 400 damage for the entire duration, which is more than originally, which makes his ultimate back to being really good. I recently started playing Spider-Man again. His ultimate was horrible, so I'm really happy about that. I might finally get Celestial. Moving on, Strategist, I actually have a lot of changes. Reduce the energy cost of Karmic Revival, so from 5,000 to 4,700, which is really good. It doesn't mean much, but it is a welcome quality of life. Karmic Revival new effect is really good. Revived allies gain bonus health equal to 70% of maximum health, which lasts for 5 seconds before decaying to 0 over 2 seconds. This is huge. This is actually insane because when people get res, they're so vulnerable and you kind of need to use another support ult or Soul Link. This means they won't die instantly. This is a huge change. Lasting 5 seconds before decaying is huge. Like, if you're playing Groot or something, 70% of your health is like 500 bonus HP. And don't forget that bonus health means that the enemy team can't get ult charge out of you when you get rest. And then you can get healed up and your team is going to farm more ult charge. So this is a huge change. I think this change actually straight up makes Adam Warlock one of the better supports to play in triple support. Luna Snow, Adam Warlock, Loki is actual elo terrorism in my book, okay? And I'm going to explain why after reading the next change. Cosmic Cluster new effect, each hit now reduces Avatar live stream charge by 0.3. So every single time he hits with his right click, it doesn't have to be a headshot like his left click, it reduces it by 0.3. It reduces Avatar live stream, which is his heal, and then his left click reduces it by 1 second, which means you can spam your healing like crazy and do crazy damage. Now, I'm going to call it right now. I think Adam Warlock, Luna Snow, and Loki might be meta. And I'm going to explain why. No more team up for Adam. Okay. No more team up. Which means... Oh, actually, I thought he loses the anchor, which he doesn't. No more team up, which means you're not going to play Mantis, Adam, and StarLord anymore. His ultimate got a huge buff. And his Soul Link is still one of the strongest abilities in the game. Plus, he can heal a lot more. If you play this comp correctly, in my book, plus the addition of the Luna Snow team up with Adam Warlock, where she is borderline unkillable, you're going to see soon enough. I believe that this comp has enough damage and enough sustain and enough ultimate abilities to keep everyone alive forever. Loki does crazy damage, Luna does crazy damage, Adam does crazy damage. You have Lamp, you have Soul Link, and if your team gets wiped, you can just Adam rest them. And then when you Adam rest them, Loki can just heal the entire team up. And even if you Adam rest them and they still use an ultimate to kill all of you, you have shields. And even if that's enough, you have Loki Lamp. And when Loki Lamp is in effect, it heals up the damage. So Loki farms through charge. I think this is a borderline Elo terrorism composition. Elo terrorist comp, right? I think Adam Warlock is going to be really good now. And I think Adam Warlock players should be really happy. Shout out to Karova. Moving on, Cloak and Dagger. Ultimate is much slower to farm, or not much slower, but about 9% slower, which is whatever. I'm just going to move on. Mantis is now the anchor, which means she gets 10% more healing, but they're going to reduce her healing per second from 12.5 to 10 seconds. So overall, this means she's going to do 11 per second with the new anchor thing, which is still lower than before. Reduce life energy blast projectile charges from 20 to 15, which means she's going to have less bullets, which means she's going to have less uptime for her flowers. And then her ultimate actually has excess healing to bonus health conversion rate from 0.7 to 1. This doesn't change how much max HP each target will have in your ability, but it's going to mean that you're going to get way more shields way faster. As a matter of fact, you're going to get, I think, around 40% faster shield generation. I'm really fried right now, so I might be wrong, but this is just on top of my head. So it is a good change. It doesn't really make the ultimate much better. And also you have to keep in mind that the team up anchor effect also affects her ultimate. Actually, I just realized that, which means she's going to get 10% more healing for her ultimate, right? The 10% on the healing on the team up anchor actually also affects her ultimate, which means she's going to heal 10% more on that. Her ultimate also, I'm reading it right now, heals 200 instantly, so it's 220 now instantly. 150 per second, so it's 165 per second. And then she gets 50, or not she, but other people get 55 instant health when she uses her normal leaves. It's now 60 instant health. And then when she heals herself, her passive heals her 12.5 per second when she's not taking damage. This will also increase to 13.75, so 14 per second. So that is also good. So it looks like bait and looks like she's overall getting a nerf, but overall she will heal more with her ultimate and one-time heals and her passive healing. Her healing over time will be worse, but it is still a net buff in my book. I don't think it's going to be enough to make her broken, but maybe with the new team up, people will play her more, because I think the new Groot wall is actually quite good. And I'm not sure about the Loki lamps, but we'll find out soon enough. Moving on, I spent so much time on this, I'm losing my mind. So, the new team ups are Adam Warlock and Luna Snow, Mantis, Groot, and they have removed Iron Fist, Luna Snow. Oh, I'm sorry, Mantis, Groot, and Loki. Remove Iron Fist and Luna Snow. And then Iron Fist joins the Luna Snow team up. And then StarLord Mantis, Adam War, Guardian Revival is removed, thank God. And then Lunar Force gets Blade added. Ragnarok Rebirth has Loki removed. And then Rocket Network is Rocket Raccoon's team up. StarLord is added, and he can actually recall to the new little thing that he can place. And then they've also changed the ever-burning bond between Human Torch and Spider-Man from 12 meters to 7 meters whenever he uses it, so he's not so far away, so he can instantly use his uppercut, which is a good change because that team-up actually sucked. Okay, so now you can use it, instantly uppercut, and then you can use your right-click, and then get back in, or do something else, or do some crazy combo. But that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. We're actually gonna test this tomorrow because I'm gonna do the hero reveal for Blade. I'm gonna play with a bunch of other streamers. I'm gonna test it all on stream, and I'm gonna talk about it again while showing it off. So tune in. Thank you so much for watching. Type Chungus in the comments. I don't know.